Relief. Good morning, CSL Delaware,
Good morning, Marcy.
and all of our friends on Facebook. My name is Marcy Knox, and I'm your reader for today. The theme for October 2021 is Going Further Together. The topic for today is I'll meet you there. Rumi, the Sufi poet, once said, out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about ideas. Ideas, language, even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense. Mary O'Malley shared, opening to life brings you into full engagement with what is happening rather than keeping you caught in a conversation about life. It means giving up your war with what life is bringing to you. Please join me with your words. Let us claim our freedom now with the creative power of our word. I step beyond my limiting ideas and into freedom. And now I bring to you Dean. We've been waiting.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh my gosh. Good morning. Let us humbly, gently, lovingly stand, please, and acknowledge this moment in sanctuary here in our beautiful, beautiful center by repeating after me. Boo! Boo! Yes! And so it is!
And so it is.
Well, that's all we need. Have a seat, ladies and gentlemen. We're just starting here. We're just starting here. Yes, it is Sunday here at our. I'm going to take this off. There's only so much of that you can handle. There you go. Welcome to our beautiful Center for Spiritual Living, Delaware, where we together we choose to go further. Further in our growth, further in our depth, further in our love. I mean, just look around at the love. Further in our appreciation of the love that you see as you look around, and further in our forgiveness. Because, Dan, if you do the second slide, as you know, our theme in October is going further together. Now this center, our center, celebrated its 11th anniversary just a few weeks ago under the beloved leadership of our Keeper of the Flame, Reverend Kathleen. And Reverend Kathleen's great. She reminds us who we are. She teaches us to remember the principles of the science of mind, remember who we truly are, remember that God is all there is, and that we are each individualized expressions of that one God. To remember each and every moment that we are spirit in form, completely, totally, and always supported by and as spirit. She also teaches us to remember to pick up our science of mind textbook and read. And so if you picked up Science of Mind textbook and turned to page 390, you're going to see paragraph 1, which Dan has got up there. It says, the mind of man is some part of the mind of God. Therefore, it contains within itself unlimited possibility of expression and self-expression. Unlimited possibility. Unlimited expansion and self-expression. That's the stuff that living is made of. Every day getting up and knowing that. And here at CSL Delaware, we are learning and sometimes relearning and sometimes relearning again that our potential is unlimited. We are not limited by our past. We are not limited by our present. Those around us do not limit us. We are expressions of the infinite God. And as such, sitting right here and right now, just as we are, we have unlimited potentiality. Even in the hard times when we experience suffering, we are experiencing the infinite God with unlimited possibility. I mean, Jesus achieved resurrection not by skirting around the suffering, clearly, but by going straight through it. We learn to go through that suffering with focus on what we know to be true. Our true nature, that we are experiencing a life of spirit, law, and body. Now, we know the same truth solidly in the good times, which makes it more possible for us to know that same truth in the times that appear not so good. Through our ever-expanding awareness with the spiritual practices like reading and study, our meditation, spiritual practice like prayer, our journaling, spiritual practice like tithing and celebration, or forgiveness, or service, we are learning how normal it is to live lives that are open to possibility. Author Mary O'Malley writes, opening to life brings you into full engagement with what is happening rather than keeping you caught in the conversation about life. It means giving up your war with what life is bringing you. So we learn to daily watch and pray for that mind to be in us, which was also in Christ Jesus. As our spiritual practice develops and unfolds, it becomes normal to see possibility, to see the potential in all the people, all the things, to choose thoughts that lift us up instead of thoughts that mess us up, choosing thoughts that lift us up instead of thoughts that mess us up. It becomes normal through our spiritual practice to celebrate all aspects of life, and even celebrate that life, after it has appeared to end in death, is eternal. We also learn to allow, to accept, to embrace love, celebration, forgiveness. Anybody have problems with that forgiveness thing? We learn repeatedly how to forgive. And even eternal life. These can become normal experiences for each of us. We keep an open mind. Constantly, we turn within to get our own sense of integrity and authenticity, and we venture forward into the world like spiritual of mind Don Quixotes, knowing the truth with the optimistic knowledge that we are one with that infinite God. And that knowledge, see, that's the thing. The more we study, the more we do our spiritual practice, the more we have that sense of God being present in us all the time. Thomas Troward, one of the key influencers of Ernest Holmes, wrote, "What we shall eventually attain is not what we merely wish, but what we regard as normal." Through spiritual practice, we experience divine communion with ourselves, with one another, and spirit. We experience this as just normal. Communion, daily divine communion, moment by moment divine communion as normal. Not just something that the great mystics did, like Jesus or Buddha. So as we learn these truths and we practice them and we embrace them, and they go from being new and even uncomfortable to being absolutely comfortable, repeatable, and even, wait for it, normal. Our perfect and enchanted journey feels normal. We have to train ourselves in the truth and immerse ourselves in the study of and celebration of that truth. And that's what we do here. That's what we're doing today. That's what we're doing right now. We must joyously learn to venture out into the realm of infinite possibility. And yes, sometimes, when we've gotten a bit battered out in our adventures, we also have to learn how to quickly run home with our metaphorical tail between our legs and realign with the truth. To see beyond the appearance, to see beyond the appearance of what's going on. So, along with Ernest Holmes, we study all kinds of spiritual philosophers and mystics. Many of us are quite fond of one of the 13th century philosophers from the area of the world that's now Iran, Jalal ad-Din Muhammad Baqi, also known as Rumi. This is why they call him Rumi, because his actual name nobody would say. Oh, have you heard that wonderful quote from Jalal ad-Din Muhammad Baqi? Yeah, it wasn't good branding. Amongst Rumi's works is a poem entitled A Great Wagon, and in the middle stanza he wrote, "Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. Ideas, language, even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense." Let's take a look at that again. Out beyond the ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. I'll meet you in that field, beyond our judgment. Rumi is celebrating our expansive awareness in this quote, our ability to separate from all judgment of how we think it should be or how we think it is, to separate from that and choose to release our own perceptions about what should be and keeping separate. Release that thought about being separate, but also release the thought about being united. Release all judgment and walk out into the field and meet that other person, that other idea, that other awareness. We will be together in that field. We will just be together in the infinite openness and possibility, the infinite togetherness and potentiality. So, our affirmation for today aligns with this idea of allowing us to step into the infinite potential. It reads, I step beyond my limiting ideas into freedom. Let's say it together. I step beyond my limiting ideas into freedom. One more time. I step beyond my limiting ideas and into freedom. Now let's consider this. We step beyond our limited ideas, and into freedom together. Take a look around at everyone here today. And if you're on Facebook Live, And Michelle, I got a link that you can put into Facebook Live later. I didn't give it to you. There's this wonderful place you can hear the whole poem written by Rumi. And I will put it in the Facebook later. Anyway, take a look at those around you here at CSL Delaware. These are the people of our community. And let's say this one. We step beyond our limiting ideas and into freedom together. Yes! So commitment. I'll meet you there. Confidence, I'll meet you there. Prosperity, I'll meet you there. Dedication, Jenny, I'll meet you there. Love, Sharon, I'll meet you there. Sharon, you forgot to shave today.
Whoops.
Unity, I'll meet you there. Razor blades, I'll meet you there. Service, I'll meet you there. See, it's my pleasure to be of service here today to share these ideas with everyone. Our spiritual community here at CSL Delaware provides a perfect environment for us to explore this spiritual practice of service. Yes, service, like prayer, meditation, journaling, celebration, and forgiveness, is a spiritual service. Service has taught me so much about togetherness. So when you choose to serve at your spiritual home, you can center into that spiritual service as a spiritual practice with commitment and dedication and love and forgiveness and openness and togetherness. Everyone here, from the welcoming committee to the people who take down the chairs, everyone who is creating this marvelous table today and this marvelous music today, working together in service of God and our awareness. And yes, our beloved minister is working in service together with us, going further. To turn within, to explore the spiritual principles of science of mind and put them into service. Give them feet. You treat, you move your feet. Spiritual service is an aspect of that treatment, living as you move your feet. In service, I found the meeting of the minds that Rumi talks about. Alludes to, at least in his poem. In service to my spiritual home, I have found great delight, challenge, great reward. Even coming up here today, great delight, great challenge, great reward. But more than that, I have been able to give and forgive and live the principles of the science of mind while joining together with others who are also on their own journey with their own spiritual principles. It's true, alone we can go faster. Together, we can go further. And when we use the truth to guide us, together, we can go both faster and further as we stand solid in love. Absolutely rock solid in love. Today is a day known for love. Oh no, wait, it's known for ghosts. It's wrong day, sorry. Today is a day that's known for ghosts and goblins and ghouls and candy and candy and candy and candy and candy and candy. Today is Halloween, and tonight, at midnight, a huge celebration begins in Mexico. You all know where Mexico is, right? I'm from LA, so Mexico is pretty much right next door. Huge celebration in Mexico. It's called Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead. There's a fascinating history behind the origins of Dia de los Muertos, but what's interesting to me, and the point I'd like to share, is that Mexican culture celebrates the dead without regret or guilt, but in appreciation and upliftment. They honor death without fear or judgment. It's way cool. During Dia de los Muertos, It is normal to focus on the celebration of life, not to be sad and focus on loss and lack. They see a death as a life that continues beyond the veil. Don't you just love that it started to rain as I said that?
Yes. And
The
the sound
veil is
effects.
beginning to open, and out comes all of the wonderful, wonderful energy of that eternal life. At this time of the year, they believe that the afterlife and their loved ones who have crossed over have transcended the veil are close enough to touch. It's believed that the veil between the living and the dead is just very thin. In a sense, kind of meeting in a field of living and non-living, and being aware of our unity with each other. For Dia de los Muertos, the Mexican family places pictures on their deceased loved ones on the table, an altar actually. There's flowers and salt are also placed there with water to quench the thirst of the returning souls. And incense is used, and there is much food and drink and lots of festivities. And we can learn from the Dia de los Muertos culture by celebrating our sense of alignment with our spiritual principles of eternal life. Life goes on, always emphasizing unity as its energy, acknowledging that the energy continues on beyond time and place. Our experience of human life is just this bit, and a full life transcends this human experience. So today, Reverend Kathleen is going to guide us in our own version of Dia de los Muertos, celebration with our altar of remembrance ritual. So I'd like to top off my talk with an evocation for our celebration. Reverend Kathleen, if you'd please join me then. So let us take our energy of this applause and turn it within to this evocation, recognizing that God is present in this magnificent spirit, this unity, this love, this life, represented through this marvelous altar and the wonderful, magnificent, uplifting, and joyous celebration that Reverend Kathleen leads. I know that this altar of remembrance ritual is blessed. We express this celebration and honor our deceased loved ones as we join them in spirit. We join them in forgiveness. We join them in love. I give such great thanks for this knowing. I give great thanks for this prayer, which I release into the law of mind. And in faith, I know that it is done. And together we say, yes! And so it is.
I'm actually going to be moving around a little, and I hadn't thought about that. I probably should have put the headset on. As you can see, we have a large cauldron of water that we're going to be using, and we have this beautiful... In fact, maybe I can just have somebody stir the cauldron. Would you like to do that, Dean? Okay. So when we get to that point, then the cauldron is there with the dissolving papers.
Ready and wait.
Yes, you can. Thank you. All right. So good morning. Good morning, my beautiful spiritual family. I'm so grateful you're all here with us today. And for those of our Facebook community, this is where you'll be able to use your paper and pen that I invited you to pull out. So I'm going to begin this remembrance ceremony with an intention, and I invite you to join me in it. So would you be willing to repeat after me? Okay, here it is. I honor and celebrate my loved ones who have transitioned.
I honor and celebrate my loved ones who have transitioned.
I open my mind and my heart to healing.
I
to healing
to,
and love.
to healing and love.
Beautiful. So we're going to be doing some releasing first so that's what Dean is there for. So as you focus on those who have left this earthly plane, so close your eyes and do that for a moment. I'd like you to sense and feel at the same time the cosmic heart of God right at the very center of your being. And breathe that in. And also be aware, you can open your eyes now and look all around you and become aware of the cosmic heart of God in all of those who surround you in our spiritual community. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful souls all around us. So I have a question for you. Are you willing to allow the power of divine love heal any remaining unhappy memories, unhealthy interpretations? No, it's the unhealthy interpretations that lead to unforgiveness. So releasing unhealthy interpretations and replacing them with life-affirming thoughts. If you agree, say yes.
Yes.
All right. So Romans chapter 12, verse 2 speaks to this, and it goes like this. Be transformed by the renewing of your minds, so that you may discern what is the good, acceptable, and perfect will of God in your life. Yes. So let us now renew our minds through the spiritual practice of forgiveness, which is synonymous with releasing in my mind. It cleanses us of error thinking, of toxic emotions, of anything that might be holding us back from living our lives more fully in the present moment. So forgiveness releases us to be fully present to life and to each other. Everybody for that?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So let's make room now for what is good and true and beautiful. So I invite you to ask yourself, as Dean said, you have to go through it. So I want you to ask yourself, what hurts, resentments, and judgments do I still feel when I think of my family and or friends who have passed? If there's anything, sometimes you're in denial and you think, oh, there's nothing, everything's fine. Oh, this is a moment to look a little deeper and see if there's anything that you're holding on to. So breathe. And when you're ready, write a symbol or a few words on the dissolvable paper. And the dissolvable paper looks like this. It's just a plain little square of paper. Does everybody have one? And if you don't, raise your hand so we can get one to you. Okay, so we have a couple people who don't. Oh, yeah, Marcy has them. So it's not only dissolvable paper, but it's also there's another piece of paper that looks like this that has angel wings on it. So you want to have that one too. If you don't have that one, raise your hands, and maybe Marcy can bring those to you as well. Do you have everybody have one of these too, with the angel wings on it? If you don't, raise your hands. Okay, so just give yourself a few moments and go ahead and fill out this little piece of dissolvable paper. We'll deal with the other one in a few minutes. Releasing anything that does not serve you and that you're truly ready to release. And you could even just say thoughts or feelings I'm not even aware of, if you're not aware of it. Grandma Bagamary is what I called her memorial service, because I loved her so dearly. And I was away at college and wasn't able to get there. So there was a sad memory around that. So I'm willing to release the sadness. And so let's begin by forgiving ourselves for what we've done to our bodies by holding on to any type of resentment or sadness, because we know it affects the body temple. So to your body, say, and you can put your hand on your body or your heart, say, I'm sorry for any harm that holding on to this has caused you. I'm sorry for any harm that this has caused you. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And to those who have passed, bring them to mind, and we're going to say, I'm sorry for any harm my judgments or resentments or sadness has caused our relationship. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. So now I invite you to come forward with your dissolving paper up to the cauldron, the blessed holy water.
I'm going to go first.
Okay, Sharon is going to go first. And Dean will stir because that helps it dissolve more quickly. Huh? Pardon?
The photos at a separate time.
Yes. Yeah, the photos will be separate. Mm-hmm. Okay, and so when you're ready, come on up. As we experience a loss of a loved have, let's take this back off. Building us or blinding us to all of those who are already around us, still around us. So again, I love the Dia de los Muertos holiday in that it focuses on gratitude and love and joy. And so what I'm going to invite you to do is, instead of how can I go on with my life without him or her, which leads to feelings of emptiness, depression, and hopelessness, let us embrace how grateful I am for the time that I had with these loved ones. And I'm thinking of my grandmother, who was Hungarian, came from Hungary, and we used to do dances together. We had this song called Az a Szép that we enjoyed, and I would cook with her, making chicken paprikash and fresh noodles for noodle soup and things, and palachinta, which is kind of a pancake. And just those memories bring me such joy. So allow yourself to have some of those beautiful memories. And as you, and I'd like you to write down the names of all of your loved ones who've transitioned. And when you're ready, you can come up and put it on the table, the Dia de los Muertos remembrance table. And put your papers up on the table. Yes, and any photos that you have as well. Now that was clever. Sharon put her phone with the photo on it. Oh, I forgot one really important part. When you come up, feel gratitude, the memories of gratitude for the loved ones that you've lost or that have gone on before you. And on the way back, feel grateful for all the people who are still in your life right here and right now. So let's do that really consciously. Let's do this very consciously. Gratitude on the way up, gratitude on the way back. So I just have one last question to ask you to bring this to conclusion. Are you willing to accept a complete and total healing, and to live your life in the spirit of joy and gratitude more fully than you ever have before? And if so, say yes.
Yes.
So in this acceptance of this truth, you've spoken your word, and it is done. And so it is.
So it is.
All right.